Alright, and welcome to another session of Smith Gaming. I'm going to play a little Insurgency Sandstorm today, because I can either record this or Siege, so might as well have a little bit of variety, I guess. Oh boy. Alright then, I guess.
Take it slow, alright?
Now, I guess that'll have to do. Somebody just got lit on fire. That's, most certainly not the death that I would want to have. Being burnt alive. No, thank you.
Is everything alright?
I think at that point I'd just shoot myself. Which is saying something. Oh!
Kill them!
That hurt. Dude with the 240 came around the corner and messed me up. Did it pretty dang quickly, too. I'm gonna go down a central staircase.
Loading!
Let's see how long I can actually stay alive this time. See, just the ability to shoot out light bulbs would be so nice in this game. And, you can't even explode the light bulbs, so. I don't know what kind of material these light bulbs have been made out of, but they're most certainly stronger than the stuff that I use in my house. It's a bad day to come out of that hallway, I guess. Well, it's a bad day to be either of those two. The dude in the back got the lucky end of the deal, though. I have to rate it.
Oh, shit!
That, kids, is why you check your corners before you come outside. People like me just, pop out from this little, blind spot, and then you have a bad day. Yeah, I don't really need to go to the box. I've still got plenty of ammo.
We're getting deep.
Hey!
And, this guy just decided to give me some more ammo.
Okay, no! Just got that! Down to the bombing run!
Hey, can
Now
you
what's
send me
it?
more components to the
Ah,
ship?
You bet!
Okay, I'm going back inside. Screw that idea. Not only that, but I have seen several cases in this game, especially this map, where the enemies will come crawling out of like that staircase or the hallway over there. And I've seen a couple of different times where they've just like popped up from around this corner and murdered everybody, so. Got laid out. Alright. Even though we're using the wrong RPG explosive device, it's still a grenade attached to a rocket. Hold still. I'll make it as quick and painless as I can, unless you want to be that guy who's just putting round after round after round down on a person. Yeah, probably wasn't a good idea to be in that hallway. Who else wants to explode today? You don't want to keep staying in this room.
We're capturing them.
Get on the truck. There we go. I think this is probably one of the best places on this entire map to actually hide.
Send the explosive drone!
The only disadvantage is way over there in your Doc Savage, people can shoot you. But same token, you can watch 3 of the like 4 different entrance areas. So. The Amazon delivery zone just showed up, and that guy had a bad day. And yeah, just smoke us out, so we can't really do anything.
Ah! Idiot! No, no!
Now we see our buddy 32 there, who's decided to take my spot. Sounds like a lot of bad things just happened in there.
I'm reloading.
I have
Give me
plenty
cover.
of these. No, there's not a box over here, I don't think, but... there should be a box right here. Which, as long as you're loading it through the Function 1 menu, it still works, even if it doesn't seem to exist. And if you're not quite sure what the Function 1 menu is, you're welcome to rewind the video and look at the, second it took me. You literally get next to the box and you hit the M as in map key, and then, Function 1. And, at least in the normal game type, it'll, for co-op, it'll just give you your kit, instantly. There's no holding F and waiting for your character to grab his ammunition or nothing like that. It just loads your kit again, basically. Which, as I'm sure you've noticed from the video, it's quite a bit faster than waiting on your character to just grab ammunition. Yes, I have explosive devices. I'm not afraid to use them. That was actually a little close. I almost ran out of ammunition there at the end. I looked down and I had maybe 3 rounds left in the magazine. And I'm sure I'm going to get somebody who's going to be like, your magazine was empty. No. Not just yet. It was extremely close. But the outline of your magazine would be a dotted line. That shows that you've actually fired the final cartridge in your magazine. And then if you try and fire it again after that, of course your weapon goes click, and then the line, dotted, segmented thing that I was just telling you about turns red and starts blinking. I'm actually kind of a little impressed, to be honest about it. The very first Insurgency they made, the one that was actually the mod, that was pretty much purely PvP only, and honestly, there are days that I do miss that, just the original mod for Half-Life 2. I had quite a couple of interesting and fun times with that mod, and then they released the original game, the first one anyway, and that one was a good game. I gotta give it that. That one was a good game. But it was lacking a couple of things. And it wasn't necessarily a developer fault or anything like that. It was just, one of those things like the speed reloads that you get in this game where you can reload your weapon faster because your character just drops the magazine on the ground. There were a couple of different times in the original Insurgency game that I'd ended up getting murdered or something like that because my character was in the middle of reloading and there was no way to speed up the process. Since we're going to play the American side, well, security is technically, I guess, pretty much any official military from what I can figure out, but still. Here's something else that I would really enjoy to see in this game if the developers ever do happen to watch or something like that. Backup iron sights. I actually own a real AR-15, and I actually have it set up quite like this rifle right now. The difference is that I have a 45-degree offset iron sight set that mounts right behind the ACOG and then right at the front where the iron post would be. And that gives me the option where if you're too close for me to use the ACOG efficiently, I just spin the rifle about 20 degrees or so and I look down the sights and I put one in you anyway. Which, Yeah, I mean, there are several cases where the backup iron sights are built into the gun, even. Like, if I was using the M16A2 model and I put on the A2 scope that attaches to the carry handle at the top, I actually have owned one of those scopes and have used it before, etc., etc. And you get your A2 scope, which is pretty much your sniper scope, marksman scope, your ACOG, whatever you want to call it. It basically fulfills the same role. And then, hang on a second. Got distracted here. Okay, that guy's just, like, impossible to hit. I'm leaving. Anyway, as I was saying, literally all you have to do with the setup where the scope is mounted to the top of your carry handle is look down. Like, you just bring your eyesight down from the scope to where your carry handle iron sights and stuff are, and the scope is specifically designed so that you can look through the area that mounts to the carry handle to still use your iron sights. There were several other cases of weapons set up like this as well. I know for a fact that the Mosin that uses, what it is called, the scope name, basically the scope they had in World War II, the Mosin, the gun, that's another weapon that's set up like that. Like, all you have to do is bring your eyesight down, and you can use the iron sight still. I don't know. I'm one of those strange Americans that has quite physically grown up around weapons of all sorts my entire life. I've literally used everything from a straight-up dagger to the only thing I actually can't say that I've officially, like, used or fired or whatever when it comes to a weapon is a rocket launcher. A buddy of mine actually had a destructive devices permit, which allows him to own anything that is 40 millimeters or larger, and I've actually got to fire that. And even if it was only firing a smoke grenade, it was still kind of fun, to be honest about it. The recoil on it is a whole lot higher than a lot of games, like, try and show or whatever. The recoil on a 40 millimeters, if I had to rate it next to something, it'd be about like firing a 12 gauge shotgun, to be honest about it. It kicks about the same. And that's probably because even if you're firing just a smoke cartridge from one of those, you're still firing a 40 millimeter. And for people who don't understand what that means, make a fist, and in most cases, the size of your fist, big around at the top where your thumb and stuff sits, is about the same size as a 40 millimeter. And that is a lot of gunpowder to pack into a cartridge. Get down the staircase. There. I know what this needs. Fragging. Frag up.
I'm throwing a frag!
Enemy kill!
Please. I need to visit the box before I try and go any further. Because, as it sits, I am quite messed up. So I'm sure some of you probably can tell by the, dark red tint around the edge of my screen. Pretty much shows that I'm almost dead. several things that are, you know, excellent about this game, and then there are other things that just aren't quite what they I would like them to be. I don't make video games for a living, so I can't, you know, legitimately say that there's, you know, this limitation or anything like that. All I can do is what I've encountered in real life and go from there.
Securing Delta!
As far as things go, I would also kind of really like to be able to, instead of an extended magazine, how about a unextended, like a 20-round magazine or something, as another option. Because, while I'm sure there are some of you out there that are like, well, why would you want a 20-round magazine when you have a 30-round magazine? Well, the answer to that is actually quite simple, and it all boils down to user preference, but I have personally noticed that I can reload 20-round magazines faster than a 30-round magazine because of the fact that I can hold one of the 20-round, like the next full 20-round magazine in my hand, and then at that point all I do is just fucking grab one with my middle finger and like my thumb, and then I just pull that one down, I spin my wrist, and I slam the next one in. All in all, it honestly takes probably about 5 or 6 seconds, maybe, which is a heck of a lot better than the 7 or 8 that I typically find that I have when I'm using a 30-round magazine. Because I have to pull out the 30-round magazine, store it in the drop bag, and then I have to pull it out of my fucking ammunition pouch or my pocket or wherever I've got it stored, and then put it into the gun. And if you're completely out of ammunition, you even have to hit the bolt release on the side of the weapon, which increases the time by another couple of seconds. And, I can't say that I've ever been legitimately in a firefight, but I've known many people. Just about every single one of my friends has been in the military at one point in time. And, several of them that I know and talk to on a daily basis have actually been in combat and had real people shoot real bullets at them. And one of the things that they all agree on is the faster you can reload, the better chance you're going to keep being alive. Oh! She got this 12 gauge. Oh, man. She got point blank with a 12 gauge. At least that was painless. But the only place he could have hit me with that 12 gauge was like right in the chest. And yeah, a 12 gauge at like a foot away directly into your chest, you're not going to have much of a chest cavity left. You're probably going to be about like getting hit in the head by an AK. It's going to be one of those cases where you've turned into a corpse before your body has even hit the ground. Like, the brain would just shut down at that point. There would be no attempting to survive or anything. Your brain would just be like, bye, and that'd be that. I do enjoy the fact that they've added in the truck, and their most recent update actually fixed several things that needed to be fixed, especially with the night modes, where you try and look down your iron sight, and your red dot sight, for instance, would just be this big old blur of freaking light that you couldn't really use.
Hey, I need to look. Come on.
They fixed that so it actually, you know, works with your night vision and stuff now. Like they essentially lowered the brightness setting for the sights, which is what they needed to do, because in real life, unless you're using something like an ACOG, especially something like a red dot sight, just a standard, not the micro, just a standard size red dot sight, that little dial on the bottom right hand side is your, essentially your brightness dial. The further to the right you turn it, the brighter it gets. That's also how you turn on said sight.
We are taking Foxtrot!
Because you don't always get the chance to aim. Honestly, I'm really surprised I survived that. Say that is I hit him in the side where a lump would have been. So he has the unfortunate displeasure of laying on the ground, drowning in his own blood. Frag it. Frag out. If that guy wants that area, then he can have it.
Ordnance expended. Making our exit. South and out.
Dad, bunghole. Sometimes suppression is more effective. Actual lethality. Yeah. Please.
Enemy on Foxtrot! Enemy on Foxtrot!
I need to see if I can acquire a different one.
They're taking Foxtrot!
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I love your work!
Oh, well, that was a good time for that. I was afraid I was going to have to run back upstairs and start trying to grab ammunition from a box that didn't exist. And before people comment and say things, yes, I know I had a couple of more magazines for my M16, but I had a 4x scope mounted to a thing that I was having to pretty much fire straight from the hip because I can't aim it at that kind of, you know, distance. When you're a foot away from me, using the ACOG is pretty much pointless. Other scenarios.